Many college students find themselves, for one reason or another, taking a course they had not initially chosen. For some of them, this becomes a turning point in their lives that leads them to a decent career with its own rewards. For a few, this becomes a path to doing greater things for one's country. Such was the case with Dr. Mudjie Kiwis Dalisay Santos, officer in charge of the Marine Fisheries Research Division of the National Fisheries Research and Development Institute, which is under the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR.
One of my dreams was, and also my parents' dream was for me to become a medical doctor. I was good in science during my elementary and high school. And so when I went to college, I took up BS Biology at the University of the Philippines. College Baguio ka nun. Ngayon, UP Baguio na lang, autonomous na siya.
However, even if his parents were willing to support his studies in medicine proper, Mudjie had second thoughts. Coming from a family that was far from wealthy, he knew the financial burden his parents would have to bear if he pursued his medical studies. His mother worked at the personnel section of a regional field office of the Department of Agriculture, while his father was an agricultural technician whose office was devolved to a local government unit.
I actually passed NMAT, yung National Medical Admission Test, to go into medicine. Napasa ko yun, and I told my parents, masaya sila.
Mudjie's father prodded him to pursue his medical studies, even if it meant borrowing money. It was a moment of deep reflection for the young Mudjie.
Sabi ko, paano yun kung may mangyari sa akin, hindi ko matapos, hindi mababaon ng utang yung parents ko. So, sabi ko hindi na. And I told them, hindi na ako magbe-med.
Mudjie decided to go into research and ended up working at UP Diliman in Quezon City, doing research on milkfish or bangus.
From there, I started to work with fish. And then, after that, I had an opportunity to go into the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources para magkaroon ng permanent position.
His research work at the Fisheries Resources Research Division of BFAR fueled his drive to excel in the field of marine science.
Doon na nurture and na-cultivate, and then doon na rin po pumasok yung drive ko into going into marine science, doing fisheries research.
Dr. Santos' stint at BFAR opened the opportunity for him to take up advanced studies in Japan.
I worked for about a couple of years, and after that, under BFAR, I applied for a scholarship sa Japan, to do my master's and PhD at the Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology. So I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship.
So from 2002 to 2009, he was on study leave, which would open doors for him to either get a lucrative job abroad or to be of greater service to his country.
And he said, are you interested to not go home and go to Korea? Because I have a 5-year project there, a research project to implement there, and I want you to be part of it.
That was in 2009, and the offer to Mudjie was equivalent to 250,000 pesos a month, which was more than 8 times of what he could earn in the Philippines. But what Dr. Santos' father had told him prior to leaving for Japan to study came to his mind. Although his studies at the Tokyo University of Marine Science and Technology were funded by the Japanese government, he still received his salary from BFAR, and that meant his studying in Japan also had a cost to the Philippine government.
Before I left for Japan, so I told my dad, and he said, pumunta ka pero bumalik ka, sabi niya. Kasi, remember, yung pag-aaral mo doon, kumbaga, suportado ng Philippine government galing sa mga taxes ng mga Pilipino.
His father said it was a moral obligation for him to return to the Philippines.
Sabi niya, yung uncle mong nagdidildil ng asin doon sa tabi, kasamang nagbabayad doon sa pinag-aaral mo sa Japan or pag-aaral mo sa Japan. Kaya kailangan bumalik. So that was one reason. I remembered my father.
Dr. Santos also did not want his children to be criticized for not coming back to the Philippines.
If I don't go back, may dalawa akong anak. And they will carry the burden eventually of people saying that your father went to Japan on scholarship and he did not come back. And I don't like to do that.
The scientist ranking system in the Philippines also allowed Mudjie to earn more over the long term. At 45 years old, he has a rank of Scientist 2 and is just 3 ranks away from Scientist 4, the highest in the Philippines. Dr. Santos said he did not have any regrets coming back to the Philippines because he really wanted to serve the country. Another consideration that made him want to come back to the country was that Japan was already a developed country.
There sa Japan kasi, yes, you have all the technologies, you have all the platform to do very good research. Kaya lang, parang marami kang napoproduce doon pero at the end of the day, parang empty. Parang empty yung feeling. Kasi una-una, yes, you produce something pero para sa mga Hapon. Mayayaman na yung mga Hapon eh.
While he admitted that there were a lot of challenges faced by scientists and researchers in the Philippines, Mudjie felt every research, whether small or big, conducted by people like him, can have a big impact on Filipinos, especially the smallholders. He said, knowing that he has made an impact on the lives of smallholders cannot be matched by money, like leading the research on the need for closed fishing season in parts of the Philippines. The closed fishing season in the East Sulu Seas, Basilan Strait, and Sibugay Bay in Mindanao for 3 months from December 1 to March 1 has resulted in increased catch for both small and commercial fishers, because sardine stocks and other marine species are allowed to spawn and regenerate. Because of the visible impact of the closed fishing season, one islet off Zamboanga City was named Mudjie to honor him.
I guess nagpapa-thank you sila dun sa nagawa ko in a way, dun sa community nila. So, kung baga pwede ka nang mag-retire. So walang katumbas na pera yon. Yung ganung klaseng honor and pasasalamat.
Actually, for Mudjie, retiring is not an option, since he knows his expertise is badly needed in conserving the country's marine resources for future generations. The problem is Dr. Santos is one of the very few marine scientists in the country with such a high level of expertise. In contrast, Japan is said to have at least one marine scientist studying each of the more than 2,000 marine species found in its waters.
I can say this, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's a culmination of a lot of many different things. At hindi lang nangyayari sa Pilipinas yun, sa buong mundo actually. In fact, may nagsabi nga na scientist from University of British Columbia, if we don't do anything drastic to conserving our marine and fisheries resources, the world's fisheries resources would collapse by 2050. The government's doing a lot of things, but we also need to do a lot more, especially yung mga local people to do their part in conserving this. What I'm saying is that, we need to take care of this, hindi para sa akin, hindi para sa atin, hindi para sa mga anak natin, but we have a moral obligation to the world, to the whole of humanity, to preserve this. Kasi storya po ng mundo yung pinag-uusapan na natin. We talk about marine ecosystem sa Pilipinas.
Mudjie did not become a physician, but he was destined to become a marine scientist so he could serve the country in a bigger way.